Chosen one, the air around you is charged with urgency. Every second feels heavier, every pause more costly, every delay more dangerous. You are standing at a threshold that will not remain open forever. For months, maybe years, you felt time passing slowly, giving you room to prepare, to wait, to think. But that time is gone. The silence of waiting has broken, and now the energy pressing in on you demands one thing: movement. If you hesitate here at this exact moment, the doors you prayed for will close, and the opportunities you longed for will vanish into the shadows. This is not a season to linger. This is the hour where hesitation becomes the enemy and boldness becomes the key. Stay with this message until the very end, because each word carries the fire of urgency and alignment. Do not scroll away, because clarity will come as you listen. And when this message reaches the deepest part of your spirit, I invite you to seal it with intention. Write your warmest wishes in the comments with the number 777. Do it once with all your focus. This is not superstition, it is a declaration. It is your way of sending energy into the universe, aligning your desire with the path opening in front of you. And what you release will come back multiplied, carrying proof that the universe always responds to courage. The danger of hesitation is that it disguises itself as safety. You tell yourself you are waiting for the right time, for more information, for the perfect sign. But deep down, you know the truth. The sign is already here. The pull you feel, the sense of urgency that keeps you restless, the alignment that keeps presenting itself. These are not coincidences, they are confirmations. Hesitation at this point is no longer wisdom, it is sabotage. It robs you of the very things you prayed for. It allows fear to dress itself as logic, convincing you to stay still when everything in the universe is telling you to move. The cost of hesitation is invisible at first. You do not see the opportunities you missed because you never stepped forward to claim them. You do not notice the doors closing quietly while you stand still. But over time, the weight of what you lost becomes undeniable. You feel the emptiness of unfulfilled potential, the ache of unrealized dreams, the heaviness of knowing you could have moved, but didn't. This pain is deeper than failure because failure comes with lessons, but hesitation comes with nothing but regret. And regret is the heaviest chain of all. Momentum is a fragile thing. Once it appears, it must be honored because it does not stay forever. Momentum is like a wave. It builds, it swells, it invites you to ride it. But if you wait too long, the wave crashes without you, leaving you stranded in still water. That is where hesitation leaves you, watching others move, rise, succeed, while you wonder why you are still standing in the same place. The truth is not that you lacked opportunities, it is that you hesitated when they arrived, and now clarity is warning you, this moment cannot be wasted. The wave is rising, you must ride it now. Every great turning point in life requires courage that feels bigger than your capacity. It always feels like too much, too soon, too uncertain. That is the nature of destiny. It demands faith before it gives proof. Hesitation waits for proof, but courage creates it. If you step now, the path will unfold. If you move now, the doors will open. But if you hesitate, nothing happens. Destiny does not wait at the door forever. It knocks once, and if ignored, it moves to the next who is willing to open. Do not let your fear gift your opportunity to someone else. The truth is, you already know what needs to be done. You already feel the pull. You already sense the direction. The clarity is not the issue. The courage is. And courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to move despite it. Waiting for fear to disappear is another form of hesitation. Fear rarely leaves before you act. It leaves because you act. Each step forward silences it a little more until it has no voice left. This is why you cannot wait for perfect peace before moving. Peace comes after obedience, not before. Look closely at your life right now. Can you not see the signs aligning? The conversations that came out of nowhere, the opportunities that surfaced unexpectedly, the nudges you feel even in quiet moments, these are not accidents. They are signals. And when signals are this clear, the only response is movement. Anything else is a loss. The longer you hesitate, the heavier the consequences become because hesitation compounds. Each missed step makes the next step harder until eventually you convince yourself movement is impossible. But that is a lie. Movement is always possible, but it must begin now. So this is the call. Do not linger. Do not pause. Do not give fear another second to argue its case. The moment is alive and it is calling for you. If you step now, you will see alignment unfold in ways that will shock you. If you move now, you will see doors swing wide that you never imagined possible. If you act now, you will set in motion a momentum that will carry you further than years of waiting ever could. But if you hesitate, if you stop, if you let this moment pass, you risk losing everything you have been preparing for. And that is a cost too high to pay. Hesitation is a thief dressed in silence. It does not take from you with force. It steals by convincing you to stand still. You tell yourself that waiting is safer, that thinking longer is wiser, that delaying your step protects you from mistakes. But behind that illusion, hesitation robs you of momentum, of alignment, of destiny. It whispers lies that sound reasonable. Not yet. Maybe later. Wait until everything feels right. And by the time you realize those words were deception, the moment you were meant to seize has already passed. The unseen cost of hesitation is greater than most imagine. You cannot measure it in what you lost because you never touched it. You measure it in the emptiness you carry, in the opportunities that never became reality. Doors closed quietly while you debated. Conversations that could have shifted everything faded because you delayed your response. Ideas that burned within you eventually went cold because you refused to act when the flame was strong. The tragedy is not that you failed. It is that you never gave yourself permission to try. Failure at least teaches. Hesitation teaches nothing but regret. The reason hesitation is so dangerous is that it feeds on fear while disguising itself as logic. Fear rarely admits its name. Instead, it hides behind the language of reason. I just need more time to prepare. I need more confirmation. I should wait for the perfect conditions. But perfection never comes. The longer you wait, the more fear strengthens its grip until it convinces you that standing still is the safest choice. Yet standing still is the very thing that guarantees loss. The moment passes, the wave crashes, and you are left with nothing but the knowledge that you could have moved and didn't. Consider how many lives have been altered not by mistakes, but by hesitation. The person who delayed saying yes to an opportunity until it was offered to someone else. The one who paused too long to speak their truth and lost their chance forever. The dreamer who carried ideas in their heart but never acted, watching others build what they only imagined. History is filled not only with the bold who acted, but with the silent who hesitated. And their silence left no mark. That is the final cruelty of hesitation. It erases you from the story you were meant to write. Momentum is a fragile gift. When it comes, it is like fire. It burns brightly, demanding fuel. If you feed it with action, it grows into something unstoppable, but if you ignore it, it fades into ashes, leaving you in the cold. How many times has momentum knocked on your door asking for one step, one decision, one act of courage, and you silenced it by waiting? Every time you did, you allowed the fire to die, but momentum is merciful. It can come again. And this is one of those moments. The fire is burning, the wave is rising, the door is open. The question is not whether momentum is available. It is whether you will step now or let it die again. The irony of hesitation is that it often feels like control. You convince yourself you are being careful, wise, measured. But in reality, hesitation is not control. It is surrender. It is handing over your power to fear and circumstances. Control is not in waiting for the perfect moment. It is in creating it through action. The ones who rise are not those who waited for everything to align, but those who moved with courage, even when the alignment was incomplete. They understood a truth that hesitation hides from you. Clarity grows as you move, not before you move. You may worry that acting will lead to mistakes, but mistakes are not final. They are teachers, shaping you, refining you, strengthening you. You can recover from a wrong step. You can learn from failure, but you cannot recover from a life unlived because you hesitated at every turn. Regret lingers far longer than the sting of failure. Regret grows heavier as time passes, reminding you not of what you lost, but of what you never dared to touch. And that weight is far more unbearable than any consequence of action. So understand this: the greatest risk is not moving forward, it is standing still. The costliest mistake is not failure, it is hesitation. The universe does not reward endless debating, it rewards decisive courage. Doors are not kept open for those who endlessly consider, they are held open for those who walk through. The wave does not pause on the shore for those who fear, it carries forward those who dare to ride it. The fire does not burn forever for the hesitant, it consumes the bold who feed it with action. And now you are standing in such a moment. The door is open, the wave is rising, the fire is burning. You have asked for this clarity, and now it is here. Do not let fear mask itself as caution. Do not let hesitation disguise itself as wisdom. Do not convince yourself that waiting longer will make it easier. It will not. Every second of delay only strengthens fear and weakens your resolve. The only way forward is forward. The only cure for hesitation is action. And the only path to destiny is obedience to the moment calling you now. There comes a point in every journey where hesitation is no longer an option. You have already seen how costly it can be to pause, how easily opportunities vanish while you stand still. But what is equally powerful is what happens when you refuse to hesitate, when you choose to step boldly even in uncertainty. The moment you move, you feel a shift inside you, a release of energy, a breaking of invisible chains, a surge of confidence that only comes through action. Momentum rushes in to meet you, and suddenly what once felt impossible begins to unfold in front of your eyes. Every act of courage rewrites the story you tell yourself. In the past, fear convinced you that you were not ready, that you were too small, too late, too unprepared. But each step you take silences that voice a little more. You begin to see that courage is not the absence of fear, but the mastery of it. Fear still whispers, but its power fades when you move anyway. What once paralyzed you now fuels you because you have learned how to convert fear into focus. That shift alone separates those who rise from those who remain behind. The ones who rise are not fearless, they are simply unwilling to let fear dictate their future. As you continue walking without hesitation, you notice how doors open differently. Opportunities seem to present themselves with more clarity. People who can help align with your path begin to appear. Resources you once lacked begin to flow toward you. This is not magic, it is momentum. The universe responds to action, not waiting. The moment you signal through your movement that you are serious, everything around you begins to rearrange itself in support. This alignment was always waiting, but it could not reveal itself until you took the first step. Movement is the key that unlocks the hidden doors. The path also becomes clearer with each act of obedience. Standing still clouds your vision, but walking sharpens it. You may not see the entire journey ahead, but each step reveals the next. And as you continue, you begin to realize that clarity is not given in advance, it is built along the way. This is why hesitation is so dangerous. It convinces you that you must see the entire road before moving, when, in truth, the road only appears as you walk. The brave understand this, and so they move even when visibility is limited. They know that clarity waits at the next step, not before it. The transformation happening inside you is not only about achieving goals, it is about becoming someone who no longer bows to fear. The person you are becoming is bolder, stronger, more resilient than you imagined. You no longer second-guess every decision, no longer replay every doubt in your mind, no longer waste time asking for permission to live. You have tasted what it means to step without hesitation, and now you crave it. Each act of boldness strengthens your identity, reminding you that hesitation was never who you were, it was only a habit you outgrew. And as your identity shifts, so does your environment. The people who doubted you begin to notice your momentum. They may not understand it, but they cannot deny it. Some will distance themselves, uncomfortable with your pace, but others will be drawn to it, inspired by your courage. You will attract those who move like you, who live without hesitation, who honor clarity over fear. This new circle will feel lighter, stronger, more aligned. Together, you will amplify each other's courage, building an atmosphere where hesitation has no place. Obstacles will still appear, but they will not feel the same. What once looked like a wall now feels like a stepping stone. What once felt like rejection now feels like redirection. What once broke your confidence now builds it. You realize that hesitation magnified your problems, but action diminishes them. When you stand still, challenges look larger than they are. But when you walk forward, you see them for what they truly are: temporary, movable, conquerable. This is the power of momentum. It shrinks fear and magnifies courage. The more you move, the more you understand that hesitation was never protection. It was a prison. It kept you locked in cycles of overthinking, trapped in loops of regret, bound by illusions of safety. But courage has broken those chains. Now freedom is not just an idea, it is your reality. You are free to step boldly, free to act with conviction, free to live without apology. And the more you embrace this freedom, the more unstoppable you become. Nothing can stand in the way of someone who has learned to silence hesitation and move with clarity. So keep stepping, keep moving, keep living without pause. The future you long for is not waiting in hesitation, it is waiting in action. Every second you delay is a second lost, but every second you move is a seed planted in destiny. And those seeds will grow, producing a harvest greater than you imagined. The moment you choose courage over hesitation, you do not just change your direction, you change your life. And from that choice, everything else begins to unfold. The deeper you move into this season of action, the clearer it becomes that hesitation was never simply about lost moments, it was about a lost self. Each time you refused to step, you denied the stronger version of yourself the chance to emerge. But now, with every bold movement forward, you are reclaiming that version. The old self that lived in cycles of doubt and delay is dissolving, while a new identity is being built, an identity marked by resilience, decisiveness, and alignment. This transformation is not fleeting, it becomes visible in the way you carry yourself, in the confidence of your choices, in the strength of your presence. You are no longer waiting for life to happen, you are shaping it with every decision. Momentum has given you a new rhythm, and that rhythm is rewriting your entire atmosphere. Where once you tolerated environments filled with fear and hesitation, now you outgrow them. People who once felt like anchors begin to feel like weights because their comfort in hesitation clashes with your urgency for action. Some may criticize you, others may distance themselves, but their reactions are not rejection. They are revelation. They reveal who cannot walk with you into the life you are building. And though their absence may ache, it is necessary. Not everyone is meant to accompany you into freedom. Some were only ever meant to be part of your waiting, not your rising. Loneliness may visit in this transition, but it is not punishment, it is preparation. Solitude sharpens clarity, teaching you to hear your own voice without interference. It strengthens your conviction, proving that you can continue moving even when applause is absent. This is where hesitation once thrived, in the silence of being alone, convincing you to wait until support arrived. But now you see the truth. You do not need constant validation. You do not need everyone's agreement. You do not even need to understand the full picture. What you need is movement, and that is already within your control. Solitude has become your ally, no longer a trigger for hesitation, but a furnace that forges your strength. The external world begins to respond differently too. The moment you live without hesitation, opportunities start to find you. Instead of you endlessly chasing them. The energy you radiate shifts, and people sense it even before they can explain it. They feel drawn to your certainty, inspired by your courage, challenged by your persistence. Without words, your life becomes a signal to others. They begin to ask themselves why they are still waiting, why they are still stuck, why they are still hesitating while you continue to move. Your actions become a mirror, exposing hesitation wherever it hides, and some will rise because they see you rising first. Yet this path is not without resistance. The faster you move, the more pressure you feel. Doors will not always open smoothly, and challenges will appear in ways that test your endurance. But what you discover is that the absence of obstacles was never the goal. The goal was the presence of resilience. Hesitation made every obstacle feel like a wall. Action turns every obstacle into a step. The weight does not disappear, but your ability to carry it grows. And with each challenge conquered, your foundation deepens. You become the kind of person who cannot be shaken because you have already faced storms without stopping. Over time, you begin to notice something profound. Hesitation was never simply a personal flaw. It was a habit passed through voices, environments, even generations. You were taught to wait, to play safe, to move only when conditions looked perfect. By breaking this habit, you are not only freeing yourself, you are breaking a cycle for those who come after you. Your boldness becomes inheritance. Your courage becomes legacy. Children, family, even strangers who watch your journey will live differently because you refused to pause when it mattered most. The chain of hesitation ends with you, and what begins is a lineage of movement, courage, and freedom. This is why your current choices matter so deeply. Each step you take without hesitation is bigger than a single decision. It is a declaration. It says that fear no longer holds the throne in your life, that regret no longer writes your story, that delay no longer dictates your destiny. It declares that clarity rules you now, that momentum carries you, that alignment defines you. And this declaration is not quiet. It resounds in everything you touch. It shows up in the opportunities you seize, the relationships you build, the doors you refuse to ignore. It shows up in the way you rise, steady and undeniable, no longer weighed down by second guessing. So embrace this path fully. Let every action you take remind you of how far you have come. Let every step silence the voice that once told you to wait. Let every victory remind you that hesitation is a prison you will never return to. You are living proof that action transforms not only circumstances, but the very soul. The journey ahead will still require courage, still demand resilience, still stretch your faith, but hesitation will never again define you. What defines you now is clarity in motion, courage in action, destiny unfolding in real time. And as long as you continue walking, nothing can stop what is already in motion. The final truth about hesitation is that it never leaves quietly. It must be confronted, broken and buried. You have walked through the weight of regret, the cost of delay and the sting of lost opportunity. But now, standing here, you know you will never return to that prison again. The strength you have gained through every act of courage has made hesitation powerless. Its voice may still whisper, but it no longer carries authority. Every step forward declares that the old pattern is gone, that the chains of waiting have shattered, and that your life is no longer bound to pause. This transformation is not just in your actions, it is in your identity. You no longer define yourself by what you almost did, by what you almost tried, by what you almost became. You define yourself by the choices you made, the steps you took, the courage you lived. And that identity is not fragile, it is carved in every scar, every breakthrough, every moment where you refuse to stop. You have proven to yourself that courage is not a momentary spark. It is a way of life. It flows in your words, in your presence, in the very atmosphere you bring into a room. The results of this transformation are already unfolding. You see opportunities come more often, not because the world changed, but because you did. You attract momentum because you embody it. You draw clarity because you live it. The universe responds not to hesitation but to decisiveness, and now it recognizes you as someone who acts. Doors that once stayed shut open at your approach. People who once overlooked you now notice. The silence that once mocked you has turned into confirmation that you are aligned. You are no longer the dreamer waiting, you are the builder moving. But this rise is not only for you. The moment you broke hesitation, you opened the way for others. They will watch your courage and realize that their fear is not final. They will see your boldness and find strength to move in their own lives. Without words, your story becomes instruction. Without teaching, your choices become lessons. You are living proof that hesitation can be defeated, and that proof will inspire more than you know. This is legacy, the impact of one person's courage rippling into generations. Of course, the path ahead will still demand courage. Fear will try to return in new disguises, but you will recognize it now. It may attempt to call itself caution, wisdom, or logic, but you will know its true name. And you will not bow to it, for once you have lived beyond hesitation, you cannot return to it. Even if doubt tries to creep back in, your history of boldness will remind you of what is possible. Your scars are not signs of weakness, they are reminders of battles already won. They testify that hesitation has no home here anymore. The closing of this chapter is not the end. It is the foundation for everything that comes next. You will walk into seasons where clarity meets opportunity, where action brings momentum, where courage creates breakthrough. You will no longer wonder if you are ready. You will know readiness is created by movement itself. You will no longer ask if you are enough. You will know that action proves sufficiency. You will no longer debate whether the timing is right. You will know that the right time is always now. And so, as you stand here, take this as your declaration. Hesitation is finished. Fear has no voice. Regret has no claim. Delay has no power. What lives in you now is clarity, urgency, and conviction. You will not miss what belongs to you. You will not lose what you were called to carry. You will not waste what you were created to build. Every step forward will multiply. Every act of courage will echo. Every choice to move will write the story of a life lived fully, not a life lost in waiting. So step boldly and do not look back. The signal has been given. The path has opened. The moment has arrived. You know what must be done, and now you have the strength to do it. This is your moment to move without hesitation, to rise without apology, to claim without fear. And as you do, the universe itself will rise to meet you. What you feel now is not only relief, but release. The weight that hesitation once pressed on your shoulders has lifted, and you are walking lighter, freer, clearer than ever before. Each step is no longer about proving yourself. It is about expressing who you have become. You do not move to earn destiny. You move because destiny is already yours. The choices before you may still look daunting, but you know now that every challenge is simply another chance to rise. There will be days when the old voice of hesitation tries to whisper again. It may tell you to wait, to doubt, to shrink. But this time you will answer differently. You will remind yourself of the doors that opened because you acted, of the strength that grew because you moved, of the freedom that came because you refused to delay. Those memories are your anchors. They silence hesitation before it has a chance to grow. From this point forward, hesitation no longer defines you. Movement does. Every decision you make, no matter how small, carries power. Each step creates ripples that extend far beyond what you can see, and as those ripples spread, they change the atmosphere around you, proving that one person's courage can shift everything. You are no longer waiting for life to begin. It has already begun, and you are living it in full. So carry this fire with you. Guard it, feed it, and let it shine. For the world is watching, not to see if you hesitate, but to see how you rise. And rise you will, again and again, until hesitation is nothing more than a distant memory, and courage is the only language your life speaks. And as you move forward, every sunrise will remind you that hesitation is gone and victory is yours. Your courage writes the story fear never could. Each step you take now is a seed of destiny, growing into a future where hesitation has no voice and only courage shapes the path before you. Walk boldly, for every breath you take carries proof